Have you ever wondered which type could be used to make the strongest Pokemon? Like if we were talking just purely stats and took the best example of a Pokemon that type has to offer for each stat and Frankenstein them together, which would be the most powerful? There's a channel called Eamon's Pokedex, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, sorry if not, and he's been doing a series where he randomly gets given Pokemon of a specific type and compares them to see what type would be the strongest in the end. It's super fun, so check him out if you get the chance, link will be in the description, but it made me curious, if he got the perfect spins, what is the best possible result for each type? So today I'm going to be going through every type and doing my own run of that game, and then showing you the full potential of those types. If you enjoyed, remember to leave a like and subscribe, and let me know which type you think will be best in the comments down below. There are some really strange rankings that I definitely was surprised by. But let's get some ground rules down real quick. Firstly, Megas, Legendaries, and Mythicals are all totally fine, and quick aside, we do have a video explaining each of those groups which you can check out in our Pokemon playlist. And our second big rule is that Gigantamax and Eternamax forms are not going to be included in this. For the most part, this is really just relevant because of Eternamax Eternatus, which would both make Poison and Dragon nearly 200 points stronger than the next group if included, but aside from that, it is totally free reign. So let's start with the weakest of the types by potential stat total, which was actually a pretty big surprise for me because it is the Grass type. There are currently 146 unique Grass type Pokemon, of which their average stats look like this. It's important to remember that these numbers take into account all Grass types, not just the fully evolved ones, and as it turns out, Grass has a ton of 3-stage Pokemon, which is why their average is so low. Notably, in comparison to the other types, their best stat on average is Special Defense, but even that only ranks 8th, with the average BST being 426 in this type. So let's see how my randomized Pokemon compares. Alright, starting things off, we're going to begin with the Grass typing, which I was very surprised to see it score so lowly in this, but we're going to be choosing 6 Pokemon one after another, and before we see the Pokemon that follow, we'll be choosing one stat from that Pokemon to take into account. So I won't know what comes next, we're just going to see how good I can actually do on this. Our first Pokemon is Tropius, and Tropius, I think we're gonna grab maybe HP from. That seems like it'd be okay. Alright, our second Pokemon will be Simisage. I feel like he probably has okay attack, but I'm gonna go with speed, I think. I don't think there's a ton of very fast Grass-type Pokemon. Hopefully this is okay. Our third Pokemon will be Cherrim. Cherrim, we're going to go special attack, I guess. I also feel like it's probably important for me to mention that I don't have these Pokemon stats in front of me. We're just doing the best we can off of memory or basically guessing. Our fourth Pokemon will be Deerling. Not fantastic. We're going to take attack, I guess. I don't think either of its defenses will be anything special. That leaves our second best is going to be Dhelmise. We're going to grab Dhelmise's defense. I love this Pokemon, actually. I think he's so cool, and I wish I used him more. Our last one will be Poltergeist, and we got to grab their special defense. I think we did pretty poorly on Grass, but as you're going to see here, Grass type can't actually do all that well. They're pretty low across the board. You know, I thought I did much worse, but actually my base stat total's well above the average, so not bad. For the strongest potential Grass type, though, we're going to take Gogoat's HP of 123, Kartana's attack of 181, Ferrothorn's defense 131, Mega Sceptile's special attack being 145, the special defense of Wuchien, which is 135, and the speed of Hisuian Electrode, which is 150. Making the Fusion's base stat total come to 865. For reference, the highest base stat total that we've ever seen in just a normal Pokemon is going to be the Primals, being Kyogre and Groudon at 770, and then Mega Mewtwo X and Y, as well as Mega Rayquaza, being 780. So our lowest type combo will be starting off about 100 points higher than them. Following the Grass type is actually the Fire type. There are currently 97 Fire-type Pokemon, and their average stats look like this. Pretty decent across the board, though they rank 3rd in Special Attack, and their average base stat total overall is 465.6. So let's see how I spin. Alright, our second type is going to be fire types. This is going to be probably a little better stats overall, but we'll see where we're getting here. Our first Pokemon is going to be Tepig. I wish we could have kept that Entei. Tepig, we're going to grab defense, I guess. I don't think that fire types as a whole have great defenses very often. Our second fire type will be Quilava. Another fire starter, another not fantastic one. We're going to go special defense here. Maybe speed. We're going to grab speed from Quilava. I can't see it being too terribly slow. Following Quilava, we have Ceruledge. Ceruledge is a special or physical attacker? Oh no. I want to say Ceruledge is a physical attacker. We're going to go physical. Following Ceruledge, we have Mega Houndoom. Thank God we kept that special attack. That's where that's going 100%. Our second last one, we have either special defense or HP. We're going to grab Salandit's special defense, I guess. Man, every time you see a early stage Pokemon, it's like a punch to the gut. Our HP stat comes from Darmanitan, Zen mode. Could have been worse, I guess. Again, a bit above the average. And this is what I could have gotten. 115 in HP thanks to Entei. A massive 180 in attack and 160 in defense, both being from Primal Groudon, a 159 in special attack from Charizard Y, 154 in special defense from Ho-Oh, and 135 in speed from Galarian Darmanitan in Zen mode, bringing our highest possible BST to 903. In 16th place, we have a really interesting one, being Poison type, which we have 96 of currently in the series. As far as their averages go, Poison ranks low in just about everything, with only their speed and special defense even breaking into the top 10 for that stat, those only being 9 and 10 respectively though. As a result, the base stat total for these Pokemon is about the same as Grass's, only being 427. Though at least for the average though, this does include Eternamax Eternatus. I am too lazy to redo the numbers without it, so you're going to have to cut me some slack there. The average will be dropped a bit without them though. Our third type is going to be the Poison type. This one I think makes sense being lower on the list. It's the first one that didn't really surprise me. Poison has a lot of categories that just aren't super high, so we'll see what we can put together. Our first Pokemon will be Hisuian Qwilfish. We're going to grab their defense. Following that, we have a Ghastly. Oh, man. This actually sucks. We'll go speed. Poison types don't have a lot of speed, so we're just gonna hope for the best here. Bulbasaur, no. We're putting Bulbasaur in special defense. Can we get some kind of good Pokemon? Golbat. Golbat, we're gonna grab his HP. I think that'll be okay. We still need both attackers. Can we get anything? Seviper? We will take Seviper's attack stat. And our last Pokemon is going to be special attack coming from Drapion. That sucks. My own spin barely outranked that, getting 465 for a BST, but what is the best case scenario? Well, base Eternatus gets us a 140 in HP, Mega Beedrill gets us 150 in attack and 145 in speed, we get a 160 in defense from Pecharunt, 170 in special attack from Mega Gengar, and 142 in special defense from Toxapex. This brings our base stat total to 907, just barely edging out the fire types. That said, for argument's sake, if I did include Eternamax Eternatus here, this type's BST would jump to 1220 overall, thanks to its massive 255 in HP and 250 in both defenses. This would cause literally an over 300 point bump just by including this one Pokemon. Next up, our second smallest type group with only 74 Pokemon is the newest type, Fairy. This group has an average BST of 448, with their best average stats being special attack, which is 6th overall, and special defense, which is 2nd overall. Our fourth type category is going to be the Fairy type. I was pretty surprised to see it so low on the list, but I guess their attack and HP stats are pretty terrible, so that did hold them back a bit. What's our first Pokemon going to be? Starting off with a Magearna. Magearna is a mythical, I believe, which means it should have 100 stats across the board, unless it's different for some reason, which I think this one might be. Let's throw Magearna special attack.
Special attack seems okay. Following Magearna, our second fairy type is Grimmsnarl. We don't have to worry about the Gigantamax for this. It doesn't really change much. But we are going to grab his attack stat. I think this will probably be on the higher end of fairy type attacks. It might have been right to grab the HP, but what are you going to do? Followed by Impidimp. Yeah, that checks out. We'll grab Impidimp's speed. Our fourth Pokemon, we have HP, defense, and special defense left. Florges, that is the best option for special defense. Then we have Mimikyu. We're going to... Oh, I wish we could have grabbed his attack, I guess. Let's grab Mimikyu's defense. In our final fairy type Pokemon, we get the HP stats of Sylveon. That's pretty good. Alright, that was like the first type that I felt pretty okay with the results.
I crushed this spin. We did really well with it. Getting a base stat total of 629 with our random Pokemon is pretty good. But our perfect fairy Pokemon would have 140 in HP thanks to Wigglytuff, 160 in attack from Mega Diancie, 150 in defense from base Diancie, 165 in special attack from Mega Gardevoir, a special defense of 154 from Florges, and a surprisingly solid speed of 148 thanks to Crown Sword Zacian, bringing their base stat total to 917. Our 14th strongest type is Electric, being made up of only 87 Pokemon. Electric have a base stat average of 450, with the 4th highest special attack stat and the 2nd highest speed of all types.
Alright, our next typing will be Electric types. Again, pretty surprised to see them so low. We're going to be starting off with Pawmo. Pawmo, let's grab the attack stat of Pawmo. Then we have Arctozolt. I don't think we have really great options for this guy. He's kind of average across the board. Let's throw them in HP. Third Pokemon, we got Defense, Special Attack, Special Defense, and Speed. Lantern. Lantern is, I believe, defensive. Let's throw them in defense. It might be better in special defense, but who knows. On to Rotom Wash. We can grab the special defense of Rotom Wash. We got special attack and speed. Toxel. Toxel, we're going to grab the speed, I guess. And that just leaves the special attack of Rotom Mow. Could have been worse, I guess.
Our spins pretty much hit almost dead even on that average with 477. However, their highest stats belong to Iron Hands with 154 in HP, Zekrom with 150 in attack, Alolan Golem's defense of 130, Xurkitree's 173 in special attack, Miraidon's special defense of 115, and the highest speed in the game belonging to Regieleki with 200. This all combines to give a base stat total of 922. The next stat actually surprised me quite a bit, and there are a total of 92 Pokemon in it, being the Fighting type.
That brings us to the Fighting type. Has a lot of really good stats, honestly, so hopefully we do okay here. Let's see what our first choice is. Hisuian Lilligant. Let's grab their speed, I guess. After Lilligant, we get a Lucario. I know it's probably he has better stats than this. I'm going to grab Lucario's special attack. I think fighting types in general are pretty low, and I might as well grab that where I can get it. Primeape. Primeape, let's grab the attack. Primeape might be too low on attack. Let's grab his special defense. Alright, after Primeape, we have Riolu. No. We're going to grab Riolu's defense. That's so rough. HP and attack, we got Pawmo again. We're going to grab Pawmo's HP. And I'm hoping we have a big fighting type attack to finish this out. Throw. Those two should have been backwards, I think.
So, how do we do? 500 BST even. But what's the average? Well, fighting types have an average BST of 486, but what surprised me is where their stats rank. As you might assume, fighting types have the highest physical attack stat. However, they also rank 3rd in HP, 4th in speed, 5th in defense, and 9th in special defense, meaning their only stat to not be in the top 10 is special attack, which they rarely care about. The strongest stats that this type could get are as follows. Iron Hands makes a return with an HP of 154, Mega Mewtwo X has the highest physical attack in the game at 190, as well as a solid special attack of 154 for us. Zamazenta has a 140 in defense and special defense, and Pheromosa has a 151 in speed, which brings our BST to 929 for the fighting type. Spot 12 goes to Ghost type Pokemon with their 87 members, having an average BST of 455, and ranking 5th in both special stats and a surprising 7th in defense. This is not a type I usually associate with being bulky, but it's kind of cool that they're so defensive. Following the fighting types, we have Ghosts. Alolan Marowak is a pretty good one to start. We're going to steal their defense. I always think that thing has stronger offenses, but it's actually pretty defensive for some reason. That brings us to Golurk. We're stealing the HP for Golurk. Also could have been an argument for attack, I think, but that's fine. Third Pokemon will be Pumpkaboo. We will take their special defense. After Pumpkaboo, we have attack, special attack, and speed. Sinistra. Let's take their attack, I guess. We're going to save special attack and speed, hopefully for something better. And Dragapult. We're going to take Dragapult's speed. That's pretty good. In our last Pokemon, we get the special attack stat of Lunala. That's pretty okay. My roll for the Ghost types got us almost to 600, pretty solid overall. But their best possible score consists of a 150 from either Drifblim or either of Giratina's forms for the HP stat, Mega Banette's attack of 165, a 160 in defense from Pecharunt, 170 in special attack from Mega Gengar, Shield form Aegislash has a 140 in special defense, and Calyrex Shadow Rider has a speed of 150, giving them a base stat total of 935. Now, our biggest group so far, a massive 153 unique Pokemon, belong to the Normal type. Normal has a decent HP and speed stat, ranking 5th and 8th, but they actually have the lowest average defense stat of any type. And their special stats aren't much better, with their BST only coming to a total of 414, which is our lowest so far. On to the normal typing, which couple stats pretty low, couple stats... No, they're all pretty low, but the HP stats tend to be pretty okay, so we'll see what we're able to put together. Starting with Hisuian Zoroark. We're going to grab their special attack, I think. I think we can pick up speed again later, but there's not a lot of special attacking normal types. After Zoroark, we have Whismur. That's dog shit. Whismur is going to be defense, I guess. Following Whismur, we have Abroliva. This one. We'll take their defense. So we got HP, attack, and speed left. Furfrou. Let's take their speed. Attack and HP. What do we got? Obstagoon. We can take his HP. And that leaves our attack stat coming from Deerling. God damn it. Despite that, we still got about 500 on our random spins, which, not bad. However, while the average for this type might be pretty low, the outliers kinda go crazy. Normal types get access to the highest HP stat in the game with Blissey's 255. They have both Regigigas and Slacking having an attack of 160. Mega Audino has a defense of 126, 135 in both special stats thanks to Porygon Z and Blissey respectively, and 135 again in speed from Mega Lopunny, bringing their highest combined BST to a total of 946. Notably, without Blissey or Chansey, the highest possible score would have been 851, and you would have to use Snorlax's HP of 160, which would have left them as the lowest combined total for this list. And that's the power of outliers in this kind of video. Just having one good Pokemon in the right spot can change literally everything about where they rank. But breaking into the top 10 is the Flying type, another large group with 132 entries. Despite having the second lowest special defense, they more than make up for it with the highest speed of any type, and a BST average of 456. Well, maybe the Flying type will be nice to us. Let's see what we get for our first Pokemon.
Walkabilly. Let's grab their special attack. I have no idea what this Pokemon does. I hope that's going to be okay. They might be like defensive though. I don't know. Our next entry is Vivian. Oh, that would have been nice for special attack. Let's grab the speed. And next up we have Crobat. God, we're like one off each time. Crobat, we're going to grab the defense, I think. After Crobat, we have Mantike. We will take the HP. Mantike will take the special defense, actually. Okay, HP and attack. Delibird, we will grab their attack. And that leaves the HP coming from Enamorus. Okay.
We just about hit that on the head with a 463 for our rolls. However, if we wanted the highest stats possible, just like Ghost, we would take 150 for HP from Drifblim. But then they have a 180 in both attack stats thanks to Mega Rayquaza. They have 140 in defense thanks to Skarmory and 154 in special defense thanks to Lugia. And they have pretty respectable speed with 160 because of Ninjask, bringing them to a total of 964, almost exactly 100 points ahead of the Grass type. Next up, we have my favorite type, the Dark type, with 89 Pokemon. Aside from their defenses, the Dark type is pretty solid across the board, even having the 4th highest attack stat and a base stat average of a respectable 466. Our next type is my personal favorite, the Dark type. Hopefully I can do it some justice here. What are we starting with? Zarude. Zarude, we can grab his attack, I guess. Maybe their speed would have been better, but there's quite a few fast Dark types. Zweilous, we're gonna grab Zweilous's special defense. Following Zweilous, we have Galarian Zigzagoon. That's not good. We'll take their speed. We have HP, defense, and special attack left. What are we getting? Scraggy. Oh god. Defense. Alright, we got HP and special attack. Grimmsnarl makes a return. We'll throw that in HP. And our last one, we're getting our special attack from Sandile. Well, that's not very good. And despite it being my favorite type, this is the first one that I am missing the mark, as we rolled under that average stat, getting only 455 for ours. However, their highest stats come from these. Guzzlord could give us a 223 in HP, Mega Tyranitar's attack stat of 165, and their defense stat of 150, Hoopa Unbound's special attack of 170, Wuchien's special defense of 135, and the same number, 135, can be given to Chien-Pao with their speed, bringing the Dark type up to a total of 977. Our 8th strongest type is also the largest, as there are 176 Water type Pokemon. Despite their high rank overall, they are pretty low across the board on average, with all of their stats ranking between 8 and 12th, coming to a total of 437 for their BST. And this is because there are just so many Water types, or 3-stage Pokemon that just aren't super impressive. However, there are quite a few outliers that really carry them. Let's see what I can spin here.
Alright, on to the Water type. Hopefully we can do a little bit better this time around. Let's see what we start with. Gigantamax Dreadnought. The Gigantamax doesn't matter. We're just going to take Dreadnaught's defense, I think. Alright, after Dreadnought we have Alomomola. We're going to take their HP. Following Alomomola, we have Slowbro. Wish we still had that defense. We'll take their special attack. Following Slowbro, we got a Lombre. We can take their special defense. Next up, we have either attack or speed. Wailmer's not great for either. We'll take their attack, though. Alright, maybe we can get a fast Water type. Clauncher. Nope.
We got 554, which puts us over 100 above the average. But that's not even close to what they can possibly do. They start out pretty big with a 170 in HP thanks to Wailord. Hero Mode Palafin offers a 160 in attack, and we get a 180 from Mega Slowbro's defense, both of Primal Kyogre's special stats being 180 and 160 respectively, and Barraskewda's speed of 136, bringing the Water type to a potential total of 986. Number 7 goes to the Steel type with 85 unique Pokemon. Surprising to absolutely no one, the Steel type has the highest defense stat in the game of any type, with an average of 109 in that category. Notably, this is actually the highest average for any individual stat that any type has. On top of that, they also have the 3rd highest attack stat and 4th highest special defense, coming to an average BST of 491.
So what I'm learning from this is that there's a ton of early stage Pokemon that really drag you down. Let's see what we can roll for the Steel type though. Genesect is a pretty cool one to start with. Let's take Genesect's speed. There's not a ton of fast Steel types, and this isn't too bad. Then we have Orthworm. We can take their defense. Sucks to burn the defense stats so early on Steel type, but hopefully that's okay. Next we have either HP, attack, special defense. Melmetal we will take the attack stat of. Moving on, we have Alolan Diglett. Not great. We'll take the special defense. It's kind of a throwaway stat in Steel. And then we have Duraludon. Duraludon, special attack. Pretty good. Okay, that just leaves HP. What do we got? Ferroseed. Cool.
And that's pretty much reflected in our spins as well, with our 596 BST being fairly well above the average rolls that we've had so far. But taking in the highest stats, we will get Solgalio's HP of 137, Kartana's attack of 181, either Mega Steelix or Mega Aggron for defense, as both have 230. We can use both of Dialga's forms as they have 150 in special attack, another 150 in special defense from either Registeel or Probopass, and a respectable 148 in speed from Crown Sword Zacian, bringing the Steel type's total up to 996. Which means in number 6 we have our first type that will have a highest base stat total possible, being over 1000. Despite that, pretty surprisingly just missing the top 5, we have the Dragon type. There are currently 93 dragons, so let's see what we can spin with them. On to the Dragon typing. I'm expecting a lot of good stats in this one, I hope. Their average is pretty high. Let's see what we start out with here. I think I just re-rolled Salamence, but I'm not sure, so we're going to hit the button again. Hydrapple. Hydrapple, I think we're gonna grab their special attack. That's difficult in dragons because they're all kind of just good at everything. Then we have Frigibax. I changed my mind. They're not all good at everything. We will grab their special defense. Our next dragon type is Duraludon. We'll take their... I guess we'll take their defense. Following Duraludon, Zygarde, 10%. Let's take their speed. 2 left, either HP or attack. Both pretty good stats for dragon types. Unless you get a Tatsugiri. Taking HP. And lastly, Koraidon. Okay, good way to end that one out. Just edging out our spin for the Steel type, the dragons come in with 598. But spinning them optimally, we would have Guzzlord's HP of 223, both of Mega Ray's attack stats, which again are 180, Turtonator's defense of 135. We take special defense from either Mega Latias or either Gudra form, as they're both 150 as well, and Mega Sceptile's speed stat of 145 brings the dragon type total to 1013. As I said, we are also excluding Eternamax Eternatus here, but if we did swap in their stats for HP and both defenses, dragons would have the highest stat point possible with 1260, 400 points above Grass's best possible score. Again, we are leaving this Pokemon out specifically as we cannot use them and they only appear as a boss fight. So with that said, we have some strange types in the top 5, and I'll be honest with you, 4 of them are shocking to me. I didn't think any of these types would be here. For example, with 90 Pokemon in their category, we have the Ground type at number 5. Despite being in the top 5, the Ground type is pretty divided. Their HP, attack, and defense are 4th, 6th, and 4th respectively, but their other stats are 15th, 16th, and 17th in their categories. And that shows up in our spins, as Ground is actually our lowest roll of the entire set.
Alright, I am just as surprised as you are to see the ground typing so high on this list, but we will make do. So what are we starting with? Sandshrew. Yeah, that's about right. We will grab... Dang, what are they bad at? Let's grab their speed, I guess. Following Sandshrew. Rhyperior, that's pretty good. We're gonna grab defense. Following Rhyperior. Diggersby. Diggersby is kind of a tricky one. I always think that he has high attack stat, but that's just because he has huge power, pure power, one of the two. So we're going to take special attack, actually. I don't really want any stats from this guy. All right, we got HP, attack, and special defense left. Marowak, we can grab the attack stat. HP and special defense. Mega Steelix, no! Oh, that's so bad. We'll take HP, I guess. Man, choosing Rhyperior for defense was a mistake. Alright, well, for special defense, I guess. What's our last one? Iron Treads. That could have been worse. And it only took us 14 types, but we actually hit ground exactly on the average, as their average base stat total is also 445. Kinda cool. But what about their highest rolls? Well, starting in HP, we have Zygarde complete with a huge 216. Primal Groudon returns for a 180 in attack, and again we are double dipping with them, taking their special attack this time with 150. Defense comes from Mega Steelix with 230, and we get a 120 in both special defense and speed from Claydol and Dugtrio respectively, giving them a highest BST possible of 1016, barely ahead of Dragons. In number 4, we have the smallest type by population, having only 65, and that is the Ice type. Ice is pretty cool, no pun intended, as none of their stats fall below the top 10. A feat that is only shared by the Dragon type, though Dragons do it better. Ice types have the second highest HP, the 6th highest defense, and special defense, as well as the 7th highest attack. As such, their base stat average goes up to 466. Alright, after ground we have the Ice type. What are we starting with? Glastrier, we're gonna take the attack stat, because Spectrier is the fast one and this one's very slow. Alright, after Glastrier, Snorunt. Rough. We'll take special attack. After Snorunt, Snover. Snover will take we'll take defense. After Snover, Mega Glalie. We will take the speed stat. We have HP and special defense left. Iron Bundle. We're going to grab the special defense. And that just leaves HP. Aurorus. That is the best option for that slot. And we cleared this one by quite a bit, getting 528 in our rolls. But their best possible scores could be reached by taking 170s in HP, attack, and special attack from Cetitan, Kyurem Black, and Kyurem White respectively. Defense comes from either of the Avalugg forms with 184, Regice gives us a 200 in special defense, and Iron Bundle has a 136 in speed, all coming together for a combined BST of 1030. And this is where it gets weird. Reaching the top 3 is the single most surprising type on the entire list, the Bug type, with 100 unique Pokemon on it. On average, this type is terrible, having the worst average stat for HP, special attack, and special defense, as well as the second worst attack, the third worst speed, and the 5th worst defense. That's right, their best average stat is the 5th worst amongst any type, meaning they have a combined BST of only 381, the lowest of any type by a mile. However, they make up for it with some truly ridiculous outliers, and we actually hit one in our spins. Alright, somehow the Bug typing came to 4th place. There's a couple really good options, but most of them are pretty bad. So let's see what we're starting out with. That is the best option. We are going to take Shuckle's special defense. After Shuckle, we have Vespiquen. Let's take their speed. No, let's take their special attack. There's not a lot of special attacking bugs. Okay. We have HP, attack, defense, speed. Heracross, we are taking the attack stat. It's a shame that wasn't Mega. Alright, after Heracross, Scizor, that would have been a good attack stat. We're going to take Scizor's defense. We have HP and speed. What do we got? Genesect, we're taking speed again. And that just leaves HP for the bug type. Yep, that makes sense. That's right, we got a 669 for this type. Crazy. Even so, that's still only like half of what they can actually get. HP comes from Buzzwole, giving us 107. Attack is Mega Heracross, who is actually the Pokemon with the second highest attack stat after Mega Mewtwo X. Special attack comes from Vikavolt with 146, and speed comes from Ninjask with 160. But the bug type's secret weapon is Shuckle, who has an absurd 230 in both defenses. This means that they have the highest in both categories out of all Pokemon after Eternamax Eternatus, bringing the best possible score for the bug type to 1057. And that might give you a hint as to our runner-up as well, as Shuckle is a dual-type Pokemon, and yes, that's right, our second place with 88 Pokemon is the Rock type. Rocks have the second highest defense on average, the fifth highest attack, and their speed and special attacks are the worst and second worst respectively in the game. As such, they have a base stat total average of 420. Let's see how we roll. Alright, our runner-up type is the Rock type somehow. Let's see what we're starting with. Garganical. We're going to grab his HP. I feel like the go-to would have been defense, but there's going to be a bunch of good defensive options here, so hopefully. Rhyperior. We're going to grab his attack this time. We missed that last time. After Rhyperior, Binacle. Special defense. Then we have Mega Aerodactyl. That is the fastest flying type. Sorry, the fastest rock type. Special attack, special defense. What do we got? Archeops. We'll grab the special attack. Alright, tell me I didn't get a bad defensive option in rock type. That's a pretty good one. That is right. Despite rocks having one of the lowest base stat total on average, we actually rolled them as our highest random Pokemon of any type. And that's without getting Shuckle, so that's pretty great. Their best stats, though, are still well above this. HP would come from Aurorus with 123, Rampardos offers a 165 in attack, Mega Diancie has a 160 in special attack, Mega Aerodactyl gives us 150 in speed, and once again, Shuckle swoops in with their 230 in both defenses, bringing the optimal Rock-type Pokemon to 1058, only a single point above Bug-type. But even with Shuckle, our first place spot has nearly a 40-point jump on top of this. With 134 Pokemon in it, the strongest optimized type is Psychic. Psychic types are great across the board. Highest special defense, second highest special attack, 6th in HP and speed, and their only real low end is their attack. And as a result, their BST average is 488. And our number one type goes to Psychic. Let's see what we're starting out with here. Duskmane Necrozma. I think we gotta take their attack, right? It's about as you're gonna get as far as Psychic types go. Following Necrozma. Mewtwo, special attack, easy peasy. Okay, we got the defenses, HP, and speed left. Yep, Unknown's pretty terrible across the board. What's our worst thing here? We're gonna take defense. Alright, we got HP, special defense, and speed. Medicham. Medicham, let's grab the speed. HP and special defense. Latios. I believe Latios is the defensive one. So we're gonna grab HP. And our final selection for this video. Tonwing. Sure. Again, we ended up spinning pretty well here, getting 2 different Necrozma forms and 2 legendaries on top of that. Unknown really held us back, but still, 646 is a pretty solid roll for that type. But again though, this is nowhere near what they can actually do, so what's the best that our Psychic type has to offer? Well, Wobbuffet gives them a 190 in HP, and Mega Mewtwo X gives them 190 for attack, being the strongest in the game. Mega Slowbro has 180 in defense,
Mega Mewtwo Y has the highest special attack of all Pokemon with 194, and finally, Deoxys defense and speed give us 160 and 180 in special defense and speed respectively, bringing our champion type to a grand total of 1,094, a full 231 points higher than the grass type, and admittedly 166 points lower than the dragon types would have with Eternamax Eternatus. I thought this was a really interesting video to make, in particular seeing how a few outlier Pokemon like Shuckle could completely change the dynamic of this list. For those curious, I'll throw a chart on screen now showing how each type ranks on average for each stat, as well as their optimized BSTs. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Did the rankings surprise you at all, and what are your favorite types? For me, it is the Dark and Ghost type, though Steel is definitely up there as well. Anyways, if you enjoyed, remember to leave a like and subscribe. Check out our Pokemon playlist for more, and thank you all so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.